when you're new to knitting intarsia, which is when you knit with more than one colour, sometimes it doesn't come out to the high quality that you're expecting, because it's quite a difficult skill to grasp, and it does take a lot of practice. So this is a swatch that I've done before when I was experimenting with colourways. I did it quickly, I did it in a rush. As you can see, it's not the most beautiful, neat finish. And at the back, I've woven in my ends so it will lay more flat. And believe it or not, I have blocked it, but then I forgot about it and it got mixed and matched, which is why it's not a perfect square. But something that I've been experimenting with and I've really enjoyed doing is stitching into knitwear to add more detail, more features. And something that I've fallen in love with is the chain stitch. So this is a jumper that I knit for my son. And I obviously knit my heart and the banner as intarsia. See from the back, there we go. But what I found was I didn't like the edge. It was just a little bit jagged because it's quite a small intarsia and it's got a lot of corners. It ended up being a little bit jagged and not the quality I wanted. So I decided to experiment with this chain stitching, and I feel like it's given it a much cleaner, sharper edge. It just looks more appealing, and then when he is running around, you can see this from quite a distance, and it's just a lovely little thing to see. So I want to show you how to do a chain stitch in knitwear. If you're familiar with chain stitch, it is the exact same concept as with embroidery. It's just using yarn instead of thread. So ideally you'd want to use a 4-ply yarn. I don't have any 4-ply, I've only got DK. So what I do, or what I have been doing, is I've just been taking myself a little reel, cutting it, and I've been splitting it. And there might be some of you going, oh, you shouldn't do that. Yeah, I know you shouldn't, but I don't have any 4-ply black and I want 4-ply black, so I'm just going to split it. So instead of it being 4 strands, oh no, in this case 3 strands, it's going to be 4. So I'm just pulling it. So as you can see, I'm trying to keep all 3 ends nice and tight as I pull. The problem with when you take the strands apart, can you see it's become really loose now? It's lost its twine, it's lost its spin, as it were. So now it's just a lot looser. But because we're stitching with it, it's not, I don't think it makes much of a difference, if I'm honest. All I'm going to do is I'm going to get my yarn, put it through my tapestry needle. You can work with loads of different types. I like a metal type because I like the sharp end, but you can also work with plastic ones. And I'm going to start here at the top point. And all I'm going to do, I'm going to poke the needle in the middle of a stitch. So, for example, when you create a stitch, it has these legs. I'm going to put my needle right in the middle of those legs. So if I put the pen down, if I zoom up, if I look at the white, for example, all of these little V's are my stitches. I'm going to poke my needle right in the middle of that stitch. Right in the middle. But I'm doing it from the back. So as I said, I'm going to go right in the middle of the stitch. I'm going to pull it through, but I'm going to leave myself a tail because I'm going to weave that in later. And now all I'm going to do, I'm going to poke my needle back exactly where I thread it through in the first place. I'm going to very gently pull. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my needle into the next place where I want my chain stitch to go, so just above diagonally. I'm going to hook the yarn over. I'm going to pull it through, and as I'm pulling it, it's essentially creating another slip knot. And I pull it tight. There we go. And that's created a chain stitch. And then you simply do the exact same thing. Put the needle exactly where you placed it last time. Pull it through. See how it starts to bunch? You can just gently pull it out. It's just got a little bit tense. Put the needle where you want your chain stitch to go. Catch the hook or catch the thread. And then gently pull. So it is a series of slip knots that you are anchoring into position. And the most important part is you must always go where you started. Oh, and don't go from front to back. Front to front. Front to front. And then when you create a new stitch, you go from the back. Hook it on. crossed it over, I crossed it over again. People always say working with black yarn, it's just the worst. There we go, because you can't see it. And there we go. So already you can see I have started to create a clearly defined edge. And as I keep going, hopefully what it will do is it will, oh no, did it again, like front to front, woman, front to front. As you keep going, it will hopefully create a nice high quality edge to whatever your knitwear is. You can draw in yarn if you will, so if there's like a different pattern or a little motif, a little character, you can use the chain stitch to draw it, and you can experiment with different thicknesses of yarn, different qualities, different materials to create all those different finishes. I try to separate my chains so they're roughly 1 stitch apart. Sometimes I do 2 or 3, it depends on the size of the gap. It depends on the quality of the knitting as well, and if there's anything I want to hide or anything I want to show off. Hook. And then when you reach the end, so say for example I can no longer continue, all you would do is you would put your needle over your yarn, so over where you've just stitched, and then pull, and that will anchor it into position. So there you go. I've created a high quality edge, but I've not created a high quality product because it's gone a bit up and then I've lost my shape. Not the end of the world. Take your needle out and you can quite simply unstitch it, like so, by unhooking it. Which is what I mean when you say you can draw with the yarn, because you can quite simply undo. She says that she can't do the final one. Gently pull, find out where that thread is, it's there. Gently pull, find out where that thread is, it's under there. Do you know what? I'm gonna stop while I'm ahead. I'm gonna stop while I'm ahead. But there you go, that's how you chain stitch into knitwear.